Yeah, like Venki said, it's not only about music, and we've known each other for a long time now. It feels like a family more than us working together. It doesn't feel like we're working, which is something that I really like. When I don't know when I started doing music because it was always there, but this is what I really wanted. That when I'm doing music, it shouldn't feel like I'm working. I'm like I have to like not like what I do. So this is what the fact that I'm with the three of them. It feels really nice and nice working with them. Yeah.
Awesome.
We're just having fun.
Thank you, thank you. Moving on, Shraddha Sharma, the first YouTube sensation in the country, the first YouTube star across 100,000 fans, ladies and gentlemen, but more importantly now, more than 4 million fans across social media, and you're barely 20. How does one process some of this stuff? How did you deal with this? Because this was happening to you from the time you were 16 or 15, if I remember.
Not barely 20 anymore, turning 21 this October.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
When you're young, you always want to be older. Works the other way around.
Well, what was the question again?
That's the beauty about artists. It's all the art. The question was, how do you deal with all of the attention? And actually, this is a different kind of attention because 4 million people on social media, I just don't know how you process that. You must be getting like 500 or 5,000 pings on a daily basis on your Facebook page and on your Instagram account. How do you process that as an artist? Do you let that affect you? You get affected by when somebody trolls you online? Because YouTube can be harsh, online can be harsh, Facebook can be harsh. People say what they mean. So how do you deal with that up and that down 25,000 times a day?
I think the word dealing is not the right word. It's all about the connection we make with people who watch us. Either Sanam or Raga Tripin or any one of us sitting here. It's all about how we relate to the audience. And I think our music speaks for us. So my music helps me relating and not dealing. So it's my fans are like, I'm just so cute, so they're like super nice to me.
Yeah, modesty is the other strength that that comes with the job.
Sam, I have a question.
Yeah.
Siddharth, this is a question for you. You're a Jammu boy, and I've been told that you have big Bollywood playback dreams. So I want to know, is this the first time you're collaborating with some of these Bollywood legends, and how does it feel?
Obviously amazing. I met him like I think 2-3 years back in Kolkata, and it was like a dream for me to meet someone who is so talented. And
When you say him, you mean Mr. Rahman?
yeah, so
Yeah, okay.
Salim sir actually.
Okay.
And it was I was a bit scared. I still remember. I think 5-6 days back when we recorded that song, I was really shivering, and I had cold also. But Salim sir really told me, कि, मतलब chill, nothing like that. And he went out, थोड़ा time मुझे और दिया like to make me feel comfortable. So it was good experience working with him. Great experience.
Okay, awesome.
Awesome. Another question?
Yeah,
for
sure, go for it.
Jonita, hi, question for you. So you also started off on YouTube, and you are actually now a star in Bollywood. So how did it all happen? Did you plan it all? Was it strategy? Was it serendipity? Tell us a bit about that.
I could say one thing, it was definitely not strategy. I honestly just started out putting out songs that I really loved. A lot of the songs I've covered and a lot of the people on stage here have, I think, come to know of me thanks to those videos that I started putting out on YouTube. And it was really just an honest effort to see what people thought of my voice outside of my hometown. I'm from Toronto, and from there, Bollywood seemed miles, and I mean, it is miles and miles away, but it seemed like something that was too far for me to fathom. So I was just really thrilled that when I would put out videos, eventually people from the industry started noticing them. And now I continue to do it because I'm just trying to stay true to the fans that kind of came on board through my initial videos and covers. But I am trying to, like Suleiman said, this whole process is a learning process. So I'm really excited to see what I can learn in this process for Jammin. And I'm just trying to work with as many people as I can and kind of learn as much as I
Junita,
can.
I've heard that you were a lot of your journey on being discovered was on YouTube.
A lot of covers, and some of them went viral, and a lot of people started taking notice, and I'm really fortunate for that.
Sure.
Sorry, I'm just butting in, but
No, not at all.
it's because of Jonita. You know, the first time, and this is, I'm just like this. I'm just endorsing the platform in a huge way because if it had not been for YouTube, you know, we would have not noticed Jonita Gandhi, who's such a fabulous singer. For the first time, she had posted a song which we had composed called Ye Hausla, and you know, I just loved it so much that that was one of her first covers, and I loved it so much that I kind of posted it, and you know, I said I really love this voice, and you know, it's so inspirational for every individual to follow their dream, and you know that if you have something, and you really, you know, you have a great talent in you, and if you believe in it, and you use the medium in the right way. You know, look at Jonita. She's working with everybody. You know, this girl from Toronto who's talented and you know had this incredible thing, was doing covers and stuff. Now working with Rahman and everyone else. So it's a beautiful way to reach out to your dreams.
Awesome. Thank you so much for those words. Thanks.
Arjun, you've had some phenomenal success online, but I'm curious to know, I mean, Nikke Nikke, Fursat, congratulations on both those big releases.
Thank you so much.
I'm curious to know how much of that popularity was influenced by, because there was also a massive offline push, and you're a Sony artist. How do you think that worked for you? Did it first pop on digital, then pick up steam offline? Did you drop it offline first and then pop on digital? How did that work?
To be honest, firstly, let me say that it's a great opportunity to be here because I feel that YouTube in general is a great platform for musicians in general.
Yep.
And I was discovered on YouTube as well in a weird way because I went the reverse way. I did Bollywood music first, and I did about 6-7 songs in Bollywood, one of them which was a hit, which was Khoon Chusle from Go Goa Gone. And for some reason, I wasn't finding my own space, and that's a difficult thing to do when you're singing for someone else.
Yep.
So I went on to YouTube after that. And YouTube is where Sony Music found me. They signed me, and they said that, you know what, for the next 6 months or so, we're going to let you do whatever you want on YouTube. And then we'll help produce your next few tracks. So based on what I made on YouTube, they decided to send me abroad and work with specific producers and said, this is your vibe.
Awesome.
I genuinely feel like I found my sound by doing what I did for a very long time on YouTube. So it definitely influenced those 2 singles and a few more which are coming out. They were definitely influenced by YouTube, definitely.
I can see Satya's chest swelling with pride, yeah. Lots of YouTube plugs there, but thank you. So, you know, Clinton, I'm almost tempted to ask you a question now, but I want to say it's a tough one. I want to save that for a little bit later. You know, Satya, I know you're a huge Marty Bani fan. I'm going to let you ask this question.
Yes,
Marty
I am.
Bani.
No, thank you for the opportunity. I've been dying to ask this question. Marty Bani, in case you didn't know, Nirali and Karthik, you guys are pretty much the king and queen or the royalty of YouTube collaborations, right? You've done it all. It's home turf for you. So what are you planning to do and what are you bringing to the table for Jammin'?
For jamming, so collaboration has been our style of creating music on YouTube. We started off with collaborating with a folk artist, and we got a hang of it. We started to collaborate with folk artists going to their places. For example, we went to Muralalaji's place in Kutch. It is a very small village in Kutch called Dholavira. We were there just like 25 kilometers away from Pakistan's border recording a song with a folk artist. And then we got a hang of that. And then we got a hang of internet collaborations in which we collaborate with musicians all across the globe through internet. And now this. So I think this is like the final thing or the ultimate dream, we would say, that we are sharing the stage with the legends, with our inspirations. And this is kind of an ultimate dream come true. Thank you, Kyuki, and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sana Moidity. Ladies and gentlemen, whoever's seen, anybody heard Mohenjo-Daro's soundtrack? The voice that you're hearing is Sana Moidity sitting on the right corner there. And that isn't her first track. She's also sung, she's sung that with Mr. Rahman, and she's done other projects with Mr. Rahman in Tamil, also in Hindi, in film. But the interesting thing that I see in you, Sana, is that while you're getting your Bollywood playback breaks as well as South Indian films, etc., you're also diligently, and I'm glad in partnership with us, working your YouTube channel. How, again, similar to the question I asked Salim Sulaiman, what's driving you? And don't you think that, yeah, it's done, do you do YouTube to get your playback breaks? Because you've got them. Why are you doing YouTube?
In fact, the first time I got an opportunity to send my video to Sir, it was a YouTube link, and fortunately for me, he happened to watch it. So, and that helped me live a childhood dream, which was meeting Sir and singing for him. So YouTube is a big thing, and I wouldn't want to stop because you get to exercise your creativity over there, your own ideas. And it's also a platform where everyone notices you. And today, we're all together. It's going to be all about learning and sharing, and that's what the higher purpose is.
Absolutely.
So it's beautiful. And I don't think it's going to stop.
Are you excited to be part of Jamin?
Sorry?
Are you excited to be part of Jamin?
Yeah, I'm extremely excited to be sharing stage with such great personalities, such great musicians, and it's a huge opportunity, and I'm really grateful about it.
Awesome. Just so that for everybody's knowledge, every time somebody says Sir on stage, they mean Mr. Rahman. Okay, so
I mentioned Rahman, so...
yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, okay. RGT, Raga Trippin, thank you for that brilliant introduction.
You're welcome, Samir.
You guys were awesome. We are missing a main team member from Raga Trippin, Suzanne, who's in Australia right now.
Yep,
yeah, I was hoping her flight got cancelled last night, but it didn't, obviously.
We tried, it didn't work out. No, she's
But
gone.
we are happy that she's there.
So you guys, Kesha and Gwen, you back up Arijit in every concert. Thompson, you've got a career as a solo artist. Both of you are, you're one of the most amazing beatboxers I know, Alan. And, Gary, just fantastic, completes the band. Tell me, but a cappella is still niche, right? As we've built your digital presence, has it impacted your live gig performances? Because I know you guys gig like mad. Has there been a correlation between your YouTube popularity and what you're doing on YouTube and your live performances?
Actually, it has because, firstly, as you mentioned, a cappella is a niche genre. So for people in India to understand कि हम Bollywood music a cappella format में करते हैं, they don't even understand what is a cappella. So YouTube really helped us connect to those people. And secondly, when we went onto the live circuit, when we were doing live shows and stuff, it kind of helped them to understand as to how we create the sounds, right from a beat boxing element, right from harmonies to guitar sounds and everything. So it really broke it down for them through our videos, and we were able to connect better with the live audience. In fact, they still don't believe. Most of the time in the middle of the show, they'll stop us and like, "Acha, ye aap muh se kar rahe ho?" So that's like a surprise element that...
Question.
Yeah, people find it hard to believe, right? Yeah.
Very hard, very hard. We've had people come up, and especially when Alan's beatboxing, they go and then they look at the console and they're like,
You guys are cheating this.
and we keep having that problem, especially if it's at a wedding or so. They don't believe it. So then we are like, Alan, ek jhalak ho jaye. And then Alan just does it for them, and they're like, oh, crap.
But it's been a great experience. Obviously, it's been a learning experience, and obviously, working with all of the stalwarts out here, we become better singers and better musicians, and we keep experimenting with our a cappella music. So
super.
Great.
So
from a cappella to rap, from Mumbai's finest to actually Mumbai's finest, right? Music in India, or how easy is it to do rap music in India? Tell us, and how have you created an identity for yourself?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say it's an honor to be among all of you guys. Thank you for the opportunity to YouTube and QK. Rap really, is still, you can say, limited to a certain bunch of people, and we are representing for them. So we represent for rap, and what we bring different to the table is the lyricism, the structures, the bars, the delivery. Our rap basically is an expression of who we are, and we are not afraid to be blunt. Yeah, and it's difficult.
Awesome.